Hey everybody, welcome to Otter's Retirement Corner. I'm your host Howard. This is your co-host Juno. I'm sitting on the couch today, so she may be here for a while. Let's talk about something that's probably a little touchy for a lot of people, and it's an important topic, and I want to cover it. I understand there's a lot going on in the country right now, and financially, retirement, Social Security, but I wanted to take a breath from that and cover another important topic. And I've touched on some of these things in the past. I want to go over it a little bit more because it's kind of touched me recently. As you know, my wife suddenly decided to retire at the age of 56, and it may or may not be permanent. But that was about 4 months ago. So we've had about 4 months to sort of live together with each other all the time, rather than me seeing her just when she's done with work, and after work, before work, and that's it, and a little bit on the weekends. So um, she may or may not watch this, so I may have some explaining to do, but here we go. First, let me say this. The topic is living with a spouse in retirement. And before I cover that part, let me just say that I'm very clear on the problem of loneliness in retirement. Loneliness kills, and I've talked about this before when we talked about living in senior living facilities, whether it's assisted living or memory care. And most of the research on this topic comes from senior living facilities rather than people living on their own. You can find a few research studies on this, but far and away it happens in those facilities. And whether it's within a facility or out, living on your own, loneliness kills, and we know that. And I want to say that up front. I'm not making light of that, but I'm not going to talk about that specifically today. I'm going to talk about living with a spouse. And whether that's a husband or a wife or, a significant other, whatever we're going to talk about, living with another person that you've known and you've been with for a long time, but now you've either both made that transition, or one was already in that transition to retirement and the other one's now made it, such as in my case. So let's talk about, first of all, the loneliness part of it. The recommendations are try to maintain your current connections. If you left business, try to maintain those relationships you had in business. Try to keep in touch with those people to help fight loneliness. Engage in online social activities like watching a YouTube channel and having discussions with people. That's something I'm doing. I like to have discussions in my comment section. I don't see that a lot on YouTube videos. They may make a comment or two here or there. I try to engage every single person who comments on my channel. That's something that I enjoy. Volunteering helps. If you've got nothing else, volunteering gets you out to meet people or animals, as the case may be. And again, caring for pets, if you've got a pet or two out there, that's companionship. That helps. It's not human companionship. No one's gonna, they're not gonna talk to you too much, but it's somebody to talk to. And find out what makes you joyful. What do you enjoy? Try to do it. But now let's get back to living with a spouse. First, let me say this. The divorce rate amongst 55 to 64-year-olds is higher than any other age group. Now, there's several reasons for this, but it's definitely people going into retirement and just into retirement where that happens. Very often it's because you no longer have children, either living with you or that you're caring for one way or the other, or paying for. My light just went out, so if it's too dark here, I apologize for that. Got to remember to charge that. So, is that better? No. There's a little light here, so hopefully that helps. So understand that, the fact that you're both living together now with a lot of time in your hands stresses a relationship. How do we get around that? I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do or don't do, and I want to hear from you. What do you guys do as we talk about this topic? Do you have separate activities? Do you have activities together? I think that the discussion needs to be had, and it needs to be clear as to what's going to happen. I play a lot of softball. My wife understands that. I'm going to be gone on certain days or weekends, and she knows that. And, she's prepared for that. She doesn't complain about it. I do know guys in softball whose wives don't want them to play, don't want them to be alone, don't want them to be separate from them in the house. It happens. So are there joint activities? Can you play softball together? That's probably not going to happen with me, but what other activities? Do you go bowling together? Do you go to a lot of movies? Do you go to fairs or carnivals or concerts, something like that? Whatever it is you do, is it discussed beforehand that, hey, this is how we're going to live our lives going forward? You're going to go to your arts and crafts shows alone. I'm going to do my things alone, and then we'll get together and do other things. Or does that just not happen, and that puts stress on the relationship? Who does the financial planning? Does it just happen organically, and does it cause problems because it's not discussed? The age-old thing. Hey, do we talk about large expenditures? Do you have a dollar threshold? Is it $100, $1,000, $5,000? Are you spending your own money? Do you have separate accounts? My wife and I keep our money and our investments together, although as we plan for the future, we look at what we have combined and how we're going to get through life with that combined amount of money. We sort of have, our own assigned expenses. She pays for certain things, I pay for certain things. It's based upon how much money we both have and, what works comfortably for us. So it is discussed. We do know what's going to happen. We both know what our expenses and our budget is, although our budget is basically whatever we want to buy. And if a large expense, we've been talking about tearing out our carpet and putting in tile, and we've decided to hold off a little while since she just retired to kind of see how things go and whether she's going to go back to work or not. But we have 2 or 3 major projects that we're going to have to get to eventually. We'll discuss that. What about household chores? We're not clean bugs by any stretch of the imagination, but there's certain things that I have just always done. Whether it's mopping floors or vacuuming. I clean my bathroom, she cleans her bathroom. We both have our favorite things. Her big thing lately has been power washing. Power wash the driveway, power wash the canopy over the pool, power wash the brick wall in the yard, power wash the fences. I don't enjoy doing that. She does. Go for it. I kind of have a rule, and I let her know that I will never ask or tell her to do anything. I don't believe in doing that. If there's something that needs to be, something that I see that needs to be done, I'll do it. And if she sees something that needs to be done, she can do it. She may ask me, I won't ask her. How do you guys handle that? That's what I'm trying to get at here. How do you guys handle all these life situations to make your relationship last and be happy? Because that's the goal. How do we best get through all this and remain happy? We both have our little activities. I was just at softball. I came home, did a little workout, walked the dogs. I'll have lunch, and after that, I tend to like to sit around for a couple hours. And if she's here sitting around for a couple hours, she's out of town right now. We tend to watch TV. So how does that work? She's got programs she likes that I cannot stand. If I have to watch an episode of Downton Abbey, I will shoot myself in the head. And I'm sure there's things that I watch. She doesn't like to watch war movies or anything earlier than like 1960, anything in black and white. She doesn't like to watch. I like those things. So what do we do when we're together? What we try to do is find something we both like. Not that it always happens. Occasionally she'll be watching something and I'll walk in another room and watch something else. But we try to find something we could both watch. I'm a talker, so I'll talk through them. I'll say, hey, why did this happen? You know, she won't engage me, but I'll just keep talking. So you know, there's gardening. We both like to garden. She's got her, you know, flowers and plants that she likes. I tend to do more of the, you know, the vegetable garden and that kind of work, and I'll do the lawn. But she's happy to do the lawn if I don't do it. You know, what about meals? We tend to eat our meals separately. And I don't know why that's happened, but we've just sort of evolved to that where, you know, we like the same things, we eat a lot of the same things, but just at different times. So I may be making, you know, lunch at 2 o'clock because I've had a lot of stuff, and she may have eaten at 12. And then, you know, our dinner schedules are off, so we eat separately. Um, Often, you know, on Saturdays we'll try to eat together or go out. It's not happening as often as she would like because I hate going out. But, you know, I try to do it. We need to do it more. I understand that. So if you're listening, my wife, I understand that. So, you know, let's talk about that. I'm curious as to how people handle this and how they avoid those confrontations because you're together all the time. Let me know what you think. Give me your questions. Give me your comments. Tell me whether I'm doing things right or wrong, or whether you think I'm doing them right or wrong, because you know we'll all have our opinions. And thanks. Talk to you later. And thanks for listening. Bye.